All right, our final session for today is a session on resources and tools. So this is basically just different resources that are available to states and others to help them with either data quality, crash reporting, citation reporting. So you'll be hearing lots of good information in this particular session. And we're going to kick it off with Holly Scarr, who is a senior research analyst from the Idaho State Police Commercial Vehicle Safety Section. Holly has been with the Idaho State Police for the past 34 years. She has a commitment to commercial vehicle safety and enforcement with a focus on CMV data management, data quality, and IT systems. She has been a member of the CVSA for over 25 years and is currently serving her 8th year as the chair of the CVSA Information Systems Committee. So she is just a wealth of knowledge. We call her the data quality queen.
Yay.
Wonderful, yes. So she's going to be sharing some information regarding FMCSA's ANI system. And I know most of you are very familiar with the ANI system. And so I kind of asked Holly just like, what are the key things that she has used or found the most useful with the ANI system? So with that, I will turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Brenda. So to begin with, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my data quality journey and why it is so important to me and to make sure that all the other states have the data quality that we need for FMCSA. So like Brenda said, I've been with the state police since 1986. I started back doing data entry of commercial vehicle data. And back then it was the MixApp program was very new. And so you'd take the inspection, you type it in, and it would go into a DOS database. The problem with this is to get any information out, you had to have a programmer do it. You could not do any granular data drill downs. So at that point, FMCSA said, hey, we kind of need some kind of way to get all this information from the states. So about a year later, they developed what is called SafetyNet. Now, SafetyNet at that time was a very basic data management system. Along with that, on the inspector side, they had these new things called computers. And that's when they developed Aspen so they could collect the information roadside. So, and I think Brenda knows a little bit about Aspen and ISS, so she's been here as long as way back then too. So as we're putting in all this information and the feds are receiving it, they're realizing, hey, not everybody's doing it the same. So that's when they decided to have data quality conferences. And so every year to 18 months, we'd go to these, we'd learn ways to make sure our data was supposed to be the way it was. So the feds would have, or I should say FMCSA would have all this information. So this goes on until 2001 when SafetyNet is now updated to this great new system called Windows. And we were all in awe of it at that time, not so much now, but at that time it was great because we could do all these reports, we could pull information, we could really see all this information. Well, here we go a couple years down the road in 2004, we're at a CVSA conference, FMCSA is giving an update of their systems and they start talking about data quality. And they bring up this map. You saw the map that Scott Valentine had at lunch about data quality, and it had all the states, and there were so many red states, and so many yellow states, and a few green states. We were all shocked about it. So shocked that, in fact, my boss turned to me and said, why are we a yellow state? And I looked at him and said, I don't know why we're a yellow state. I thought I was doing everything right. So it was at that point in time I vowed that my data quality would never be a yellow or a red, that it would always be green. A lot of other states at the same time said, we have to work on that. So once again, we're like, okay, great, we're gonna get our data quality back, we're gonna get the right information to FMCSA. At that point in time, FMCSA leadership decided we did not need data quality workshops. And so they ended. So states started struggling at that point. They started struggling because people would leave, positions changed, nobody left a desk manual what was supposed to be in this. However, at that time, the data was becoming more and more important because things like CSA started, SMS started. So in 2013, I was appointed the CVSA Information Systems Chair. I decided at that point my number one thing was to have the data quality workshops, trainings reinstated. And one way I was able to work towards that was I was also on the FTSIG committee, which is the Federal IT Steering Committee, where I met Joel Hyatt from FMCSA. And Joel Hyatt was able to introduce me to Jack Van Steenberg, also from FMCSA, and I was able to have a meeting with him and discuss with him these issues the states were having. I explained that if FMCSA wanted garbage in, garbage out, that's what they were going to get because the training was not there, that states just didn't know what to put in fields for inspection or crash. And especially when it was counting toward industry more and more, data was driving our programs. Jack was very on board with it and he said yes. So at that point in time, with CVSA leadership and with Scott Valentine, his group at FMCSA, we were able to develop a small training our first year in 2015. We then incorporated a bigger training in 2017, 2019, and then in 2021, due to COVID, we went virtual. It was great to have the training and we received a lot of good responses back, but it was really hard to have the training. It's really an in-person training because you also get to meet your peers. States get to meet their peers, discuss these problems they're having and go, hey, what do you do when this happens? They also take this back to when they're back in their state and they find something. So then they can go, hey, I'll call up Diane and she would give me the answer and I could do it. So the data quality workshops have helped the states to improve their data. And with that, we hope to continue on this course so that states are uniform in what they're reporting. So to go along with that, some of the steps I use for my data quality to clean it up, to make sure it's right, is I use the ANI website. And the ANI website is analysis and information online. Now this website is full of a lot of information. It started off real basic, but it now contains a lot of reports. You have crash, you have enforcement programs, we have grants. Gotham is more towards federal tools, but one of the areas I go to in the data quality is the state data. And in the state data, which it goes back to the big map that controlled everything, it is broken down into your measures of where your data quality errors are. This is my state, and at this time I have all green but one yellow. Now the yellow has to deal with my crash timeliness, which comes from a different agency. So I kind of don't have control over that. We work with them, but sometimes it is what it is on that box. But everything else is green. See, it's green. I'm green. Exactly. So an area, just to show you, that I go to is, there is a lot of information and I'm not going to go into it. It talks about measures, underlying factors, indicators. But a helpful area is called the supplemental reports. And in these reports, it will give me information about what records are still lacking or probably I need to go look at just to make sure that they meet what FMCSA is looking at. So if I pull up a report, okay. So the first one I'm going to show you is, this is my non-match. And what a non-match report is, it is inspections or crashes that don't have DOT numbers associated with them. Now, this is very important because we need to have these inspections and crashes with those inspections. So the first thing I do is I go back to the inspection and crash and I run the report again, because sometimes a carrier will not have had their DOT number at that time, and until they were stopped, they didn't realize they were supposed to have one. So here I can run that, process it, see if they have a DOT. If they have a DOT, I can assign it and ship it off to the MCMAS database. But say they don't have one, well, what do I do? Well, at that point in time, I do a couple extra steps, and one of them is to go look at, I go back to my ANI, and I go to what's called DIR. Now, DIR is a driver information resource, and in this area, it brings up information on drivers of inspections and crashes that they have had, of 3 years of inspections, 5 years of crashes. If it's been recorded into FMCSA system, it is out here. Now here I can search by driver, US DOT number, the driver's license number. However, because it does contain real driver information, I cannot share that with you. So let me go and give you a cleaned up version. So I type in a driver's name and it brings up, depending on what I have, a driver. And so I'm like, oh, okay, this driver, he looks like he matches kind of that information. So then I bring it up and I show, oh, he's had a crash here, he's had a couple inspections. So then I can look at it and go, okay, does the company match the non-match I was looking at? If I go into the inspection reports, is he driving the same truck? Is this inspection in between those areas? So I can look to go, is this driver really this company, and put that DOT number? Or can I go, no, I think this is probably a different driver, so I need to do other research. Along with this, I also use this for my data queues. Say I get a challenge from a carrier saying, oh, this driver, he has never worked for me, I've never seen him whatsoever. I can also use this to go in there, put in the driver, and then I can go, oh, ABC Trucking, he has all this. The carrier who is challenging it is ABC Trucking. This inspection falls within here. I'm pretty sure he's working for this company, and so I can deny that report. But it also works the other way of, sure, this driver doesn't work for me. I go and I see ABC, John Smith Trucking, and then ABC. And then I'm like, well, why is that? And I look and it's sure enough, it's our inspection that says a John Smith. Well, I go and I look and I find out that the inspector had typed in the numbers wrong of the DOT number, or he copied the previous inspections carrier information and put it in. So then I can also go back, make those changes, so then that carrier isn't penalized. So that's a couple areas that I use DIR for. Another great tool out there, and this is relatively new to the ANI site within the last couple years, is the Learning Center. And in the Learning Center, it's been expanded throughout the year of including information to help with our data quality as well as training. And like I told you before, we had our data quality training in March of this year. Because it was virtual, we were able to record a bunch of, well, a majority of the sessions, and we were able to put them out there so states can go back and look at these videos of remembering, you know, I took that session, but I don't remember exactly what they said. So they can go back and review it. Or if you have new people, there's a whole area of how to run safety net, what to look for on reports. And let me show you just a couple of our references we've developed. One is how to code records when you have driver information that's missing. Say you have a crash report and the driver information is missing. but it's a legitimate crash report. It was a hit and run. It was parked, stolen vehicle. Before, Scott Valentine's group, they changed it within, I believe, the last year and a half, to if we're able to prove that, yes, it was a parked vehicle, we can type this information in to the safety net crash module, and it will not count against our data quality. So this is a good tool to reference when it comes to that. And let me see if sorry. Go out to the other one. And another great tool for those who are, newer to the system, haven't been here 34 years, is where do I find missing information? Say I have information that I just don't know. I'm a newer user. I don't know all the system. And I can tell you FMCSA has a lot of systems out there with information you can obtain. So here I can go, oh, I have missing driver's license. Well, then I can go and I can look, should I go to DIR? Should I go to DSMS, Inlets, Query Central? There's just a whole variety of information that they can go to, that they can reference this and go, this is where I can go. So I encourage those states who have newer users to go out to the Learning Center and be able to use some of these, reference it, and if not, then please attend one of our data quality conferences, which is going to be in Indianapolis next year. And so with that, I am done. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Holly. That was a lot of great information. Incredibly useful. Does anybody have any questions, comments for Holly? Uh-oh, are we getting towards the end of the day already? Yeah. Gosh, come on, guys. Dustin, do we have anything online?
Not at this time.
Okay, great. You might be in luck, Holly.
Yay!
But Holly will be around, obviously, the rest of today and tomorrow as well, if you want to just catch her and ask her any questions.
Okay.
Thanks again, Holly.
Thank you.